I'm so glad you could all be present for the day of my own death. You're probably wondering how it came to this. For that, I'll have to start from the beginning, and you can decide for yourself if this is my worthy punishment. I stand before you, and nothing will be the same as it was that fine sunny day. It seems so long ago that I stepped into the untampered soil. You see, this was a defining moment for me, as I had always known man-made structures and the hustle and bustle of city life from infancy. Don't get me wrong, I loved the constant movement of activity and growth, but once I stepped off that boat, that massive boat filled to the brim with rabbits, I felt something in me change. The air was fresh and crisp. I felt a breeze on the nape of my neck, which is a rare occurrence due to our buildings blocking the sky's playfulness down on earth. Yes, those wide open spaces seemed to have an appeal to my eye, and just for a moment I felt a string pulled somewhere in my chest, only for a reason I understood until now. Can you hear those footsteps? Those echoing steps growing in amplification, every step heavy with purpose, of which being my own sorry end. Slowly and instinctively I inch into the corner walls of my cell. I know this will not help me. It won't bring me more time. It's not going to add any more enjoyment to my life, only increased fear of what's to come. Still, as I now face the man I used to leisurely cross paths with every day, I evermore sink further into these walls. He glares at me with creased brows. His mouth moves, but the words are not registered. And as his footsteps grow fainter, the words now bounce around in my skull. Us or them. You have 15 minutes to decide. I have always considered myself an extroverted character. Connecting with people is an asset of mine, but it has also contributed to my downfall. At this point, I have to ask myself, was it worth it? Did I even make an impression on these cold hearts? Right now, as I sit in these frigid concrete floors, resonating their icy punch into my bones, my fate being discussed in the other room, I feel as though the answer is no. It was not enough. It would have never been enough. Now I'm unsure if my mediator ways were worth my own life. The rabbits or the others. It is essentially the same as choose life or death. For someone to deny their chance of life is utterly absurd. So why is my mind jumping between the two like a leapfrog? But still, as our own ways became increasingly forceful, my stomach began to increasingly become unsettled at the thought of tearing apart their simplicity. These are good people's homes we are hurting, children we are removing from their loving parents. One thing led to another, and I began to instinctively put myself in their shoes. I knew that I had to say something. How could I not? The idea of equal rights came to me one day, as one of the children spotted me while in a tree. The look of horror in his eyes is still something that pierces my soul. I asked myself, if I was the child in the tree, would I be scared of me? I knew that forceful integration would not reap positive repercussions in our future. There is no point in unnecessary violence when both parties can meet in the middle. Of course, I had not taken into consideration what harm the rabbits could produce. That violence and inconsideration only keeps growing. Who was I to think one man could solely stop it? But now, an epiphany enters my mind. Thinking back, I know I would have never idly stood by while we ripped the beautiful life and culture from these original residents. What makes me think that if I leave this cell alive, anything would be different? It would only be a matter of time before I break again. I've come to understand and fully appreciate that there is no right way of living. How we really grow is using both to our advantage. I can only hope my stand has affected the cold hearts of some rabbits. Before you I no longer quiver in the corner, but I stand tall in my decided fate. That is why, when the guard asks, "So who will it be?" I say, "The others."